Let's go, bub.
Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut! Nothing moves the blob!
Towns other than like we wanted to go get this spot on the river.
I've been there quite a few times. I love Yellowstone.
I've never been.
Absolutely beautiful.
My grandparent or my dad grew up in Star Valley, Wyoming,
Oh, yeah.
pretty close to Yellowstone.
Yeah, my dad's brother, when he was alive, lived there. So we would go visit them and then head to Yellowstone.
Yeah, good times.
Alrighty,
Yep.
so we are live.
and we're apparently talking about Yellowstone. So I apologize for intruding upon such a radical conversation.
So it was
No,
better
it's
than the one before.
it's not the show Yellowstone. We're talking about the actual park
Yep.
because I'm going to be there in 2 weeks.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I haven't actually watched Yellowstone, but I've watched all of its prequels so far. I felt that was the better way to go since I came into it so far behind. So
Right.
I watched 1883. That was pretty good. I've
Yeah,
watched
that was good.
I've watched 1923. It's one of my favorite shows right now. I dig it. Anyways,
Yes.
so hello, Davey. Before we begin, we have Karma to roll for. And don't we have a birthday this month?
Yep,
Mhm.
today,
Shelley.
right on the nose.
And what a big nose it is.
Yes.
I kid.
You turned down a birthday dinner for this.
They did.
Oh, wow. Well,
See.
thank you.
XP.
We're going to go ahead and roll for, why don't we roll twice then for Karma for birthday?
What did we use to roll?
D10 times 50.
Okay, I got a D10. Oh, so birthday. Ooh, 9.
Nice.
So
Roll
9
50s.
times 5. Be careful, you're hitting your camera.
Well, yeah, it's every time I touch my desk. Sorry, guys.
And then roll again for the birthday XP. Or Karma, technically.
7.
Okay, and then 7 times 5, and then add it all together, and what do you
800.
got? Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
800. 800. So that's 800 times 5.
Yeah.
That's 4K.
4,000.
Wow.
Good job, birthday girl.
Yeah.
Which means, technically, with that, that's exactly the amount that, Brittany, you were saying you needed, I think, for your next goal.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Let's check. Where did I write it down?
Yeah, and happy birthday to you too.
It's a very merry on birthday to you.
Where is my... Oh, here we go. I was going to go for agility. Yes. 3,000 for agility is what it costs.
We got it. So if that's going to be 3,000, use this with the 1,000. And let's see here.
What are you taking your agility up to now?
40.
40. Nice. Wow.
Okay.
Don't forget, I need copies of character sheets when you guys increase.
Okay.
Because we never want to run into a situation where I have to look at your character sheet for something and go, oh, you have this. Guess what you're rolling as?
Great. So then, okay.
What did we roll?
Hey, it's Discord's birthday too.
Yeah. Do we get to roll for Discord too?
No.
Shucks.
All right. So then that puts our banked karma at 1,895. What was I gonna do? Oh, yeah. Let's see. So that puts it at my turn in the cycle, being the last one. And with the 1,895, let's see. I think we'll hold on. I've got to actually figure out what I'm going to spend that on. So right now we got 1,895 in banked karma, so that we still have our 300 available karma.
Okie doke.
Before I send you my new sheet, I would like to try a power stunt, but it's the kind of power stunt I would probably need to do in the danger room.
Okay. Well, it is the next day, so when we pick up game, you can do that. Just make sure you get your character sheet over to me. As a reminder, Our rolls are being done in the Discord chat, so you can not only know if you succeed or not, but you also know the result, so you don't have to look it up on a chart.
Yeah, that makes it nice.
I have a legitimate question for you.
As opposed to an illegitimate question, you are not the father.
I know I'm not the father. Would transforming my body into plasma, if someone were to punch me, would that count as like bodily harm if they accidentally killed themselves?
Yes.
Really? That? Oh,
So,
'Cause I know the next stunt I wanted-
so death by punching, is that what you're saying?
no, I was curious if I turn myself into plasma because that's the next power stunt I want to work on. And someone, let's say, tries to jump through me. I can take whatever you dish out.
And they die?
And they die.
Yes.
Okay.
That is a 100% causation of, you basically killing them. Even though it's, in essence, it would be the same thing as death by cop.
Okay. But you see what I was going for, at least, right?
Sure.
Okay. Morally, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. So probably not the best power stunt to attempt.
It might be if we're going into space, though.
Not if you're going into space. Do you know what frozen plasma looks like?
Well, it's heat-based
Frozen
plasma, so it's all hot.
Yeah, well, and against absolute zero. So do you know what that looks like? You're a frozen glob and dead.
All right.
I know. I'm raining on
probably-
your heat parade.
There's probably only two of us that would be able to survive for any limited period of time in space, but I would still, and the only reason why I might survive is because of my endurance.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't be able to do it indefinitely
Nope.
because I don't have space immunity.
Yeah,
I'd be able to survive like if I got
pull
caught
space. You could probably pull Space Mary Poppins
up.
from Star Wars.
Right. Something along those lines, yeah. I got caught out, the explosion sent me out or something like that. I got sucked out. I've got probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that to get back in. Otherwise, sickle.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The
So
only other person that would be able to survive would be the droid. And even then,
Depending on how well I rolled, I could survive for a few minutes. But that's only based off of how long it takes for the oxygen to leave my lungs and for me to break my concentration.
Yeah, exactly.
these are all interesting stress tests that you're apparently debating while you're on planet Earth. So why don't we go ahead and do a real quick recap from last game? So get everybody caught up and let's take it away from there.
Brittany's got practice.
Yeah. Exactly.
Indeed.
And she's still muted.
And she's muted.
Okay.
All right.
So since Dale was not here, we had the UN investigation happening largely off screen.
Mhm.
Shield took Israeli Shield aside for conversation. Carmen and Chon went through her fan mail and saved out any interesting requests for marriage, just for, interest. Angler got a call from a fellow called Victor Solis about Pearl. He is a magic person, and he was referred to a person called Emmaix, who is an occultic scholar in Montreal and master of dimensional magic energies. We discussed the documentary that is critical of Freddy. We discussed perhaps getting a PR person. We discussed contacting New Prussia about the Tavaxian they have in custody, to find out whether Ixion's planet has been destroyed or not. And then we decided to wait a few days after the investigation is through before contacting them, just in case. Carmen went to the library to research Senia and Donovan McLaren. So we got a good history dump. I don't know if you want me to read all that.
No, no need.
Ixion and Chon are working on developing weapons systems for his ship. We found out that Electrum traveled space via a ship gifted him by the Galactic Union. And then as far as PR person, Mainframe found us the name of the Justice Legion's PR guy, Rick Astor. And Rick Astor's best known rival is a woman called Justice Reiner from Los Angeles. She has repped a lot of big corporations and a few high-powered Hollywood types. So the thought there was to induce her perhaps to represent us out of her interest to one-up Mr. Astor. So that's all I have.
Alrighty.
Background stuff.
Well, at this point, it is the well, we'll say it's been 2 days. Doesn't really matter much, but it's been a couple days at this point since the inspection. Haven't heard any word back as to the house wise, how it went, so on and so forth. So I'm going to assume, so we know Shone and Xenofreeze are at the vein. Anybody else residing or just showing up?
He will continue to come back to the vein and continue to work on his plasma control.
Okay.
Yeah, if nothing else is going on at the offices right now, then Mark will come to the vein too.
Okay.
Same.
Oh, all right. Well, everybody's showing up at some point, later morning, to do your thing or work out or reconnect.
Can I roll for my power stunt?
You sure can.
Can I roll to see about my phasing ability attempt?
Go ahead.
Can I roll my power stunt?
I'm just
Yes.
going to roll mine and assume that the answer is yes.
Good
What is
idea.
I
I
forgot.
rolled a 5.
Is it /roll or is it just R?
No, it's an exclamation point roll.
Bam! Finished.
Nice.
Do you want me to send this to you now, Jerome?
Send
I'm
me
thinking
what?
about weapons.
The update? Now that I've completed the power stunt?
I can't do anything with it while I'm running a game. So if you send it, again, just know it's going to sit in the ether until afterwards.
So it's roll RM, right?
Exclamation point roll, capital R, capital M.
I think we pinned the command in the chat. So when in doubt, check the pinning.
Yeah.
That didn't work.
That second roll doesn't count. I just wanted to see if it was still possible for me to actually succeed.
I'm not rolling. Why am I not rolling?
Which chat are you in?
I'm in the I'm in freaking Cyberpunk. Hold on.
That would probably be
Super's-
why, because that bot's not in the Cyberpunk chat.
Super's
Here we
rolls.
go.
But the Cyberpunk players are going to have something interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nope. I got a white.
Did we all go into Super's rolls? There's two different. Or are you? Do you have access to that one, Shelly?
Super rolls? Yeah.
All of you have access to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care where you roll it. It'd probably be preferable if you do put it in there, but it'll work in either of them.
Right.
All right. Well, the day is starting off with everybody working, training, trying to figure things out. Hyperion, did you have any plans for the team? Anything you wanted to address?
Let's see. So,
Coffee you wish to experiment on?
Coffee?
not exactly. No.
Yes,
Yeah,
quantum coffee.
quantum. Oh no. Let's see here.
Half the size, double the fullness.
Yeah, coffee in a pill. Somehow. Okay. Let's see. So since everyone's there, so it's been, you're saying, like 2 days.
2 days
since
from the
thing
inspection.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then he would just meet everybody in the ready room, that conference room / computer room that's in the vein.
Sure. The main room.
He's like, "Morning, everybody. So, anything to report over the past couple of days so far?"
I think so.
Have you heard anything from the UN?
Not yet. It seems to take them some time to make their final decisions, and they don't make us privy to their progress, unfortunately. But it did seem like S.H.I.E.L.D. talked to Israeli S.H.I.E.L.D. during that time. I'm hoping that was in our favor. I suppose time will tell. But assuming that things went well, I suggest we assume that that is the case and keep moving forward with what we've been dealing with. Most recent information we've had, of course, is that apparently Dr. Rostenkowski has been in Senia for some time due to the information we received. I have info that we should perhaps talk to Donovan McLaren regarding information on Senia to see if we can actually track her exact whereabouts.
Is there a way we can do that without revealing our purpose / identities?
My initial thoughts were to approach it, of course, as Mark, but to explain that I heard information through Angler / Freddy that this individual, Dr. Rostenkowski, someone that Mark knew in his past and admired, may actually be held against her will in Senia. Therefore, there'd be a reason why Mark would want information on what to do, what could be expected if the Legacy were asked to attempt to rescue her or at least find her. What would happen, according to what he knows about his home country, of course.
Do you think that's a conversation that would, based on the cover, be most appropriate one-on-one?
It may seem odd if everyone was looped into the conversation at the same time. My initial idea was that, for whatever reason, Mark had a sort of mentor relationship with her in the past, seeing as how she herself is extremely adept in multiple sciences,
Right.
as am I. It would make sense for all of us to have that conversation simultaneously. I'm not sure I could come up with a believable cover for everyone, unless any of you can.
Yeah, I can't help you there.
It
Yeah,
seems
I
settled.
don't have one either.
With that said, while I'm having that conversation then with Donovan McLaren, it may also be prudent of us for to contact one of our recent contacts, Ambassador Nolan, who was in Argentina. He did say that he would assist us if we asked him because of what we did.
I did try to call him, and I left a message for him to call us back.
Excellent. When was that?
So that's right.
A couple days ago, I still haven't heard back.
All right.
Perfect.
Did you call him as your civilian self or as Legacy?
As Legacy.
Excellent. All right. Beyond that, is there anything else I should be made aware of? I know I've been busy with Quantum Unlimited business for the past couple of days.
Carmen's got a lot of marriage proposals.
And you know what? None of them even sent any photographs. What is up with that?
This is from fan mail from New Prussia, I take it.
Yeah, and a couple of other places. I mean, mostly Europe, but yeah, stuff that Jurgen sent over.
How do you feel about that degree of attention, especially that type?
It's really strange. There are some really cute ones though, that she'll like take out of her pocket. One of the kid ones that just says, that's like kid handwriting and just has like a little drawing and says you're the best and I want to learn science and stuff. So, I mean, it's not all bad, but this is why maybe it would be nice to have somebody handle this sort of thing for us. And Mainframe actually said that Electrum has fan mail that's been collecting, and there's a site here in town that I thought might be interesting to investigate.
Would you want to accomplish that with somebody else in the team while I'm trying to make that discussion with Donovan?
Sure.
Well, we've already discussed it. Carmen and I we just didn't want to go without you guys, and
yeah,
because you guys wanted to go.
In case there's some weird security parameters. But before we split up, I wanted to ask, do you think there's any reason that we wouldn't be able to contact New Prussia? I thought we might ask about the Tabaxian there, see if they've had any further conversation with him.
That is something perhaps we should discuss given what we've just went through. The degree of contact, direct or indirect, we want to have with New Prussia and or its president. I know, of course, you have a direct relationship. That's clearly unavoidable, and so far that has not hurt you specifically. However, unfortunately, it has hindered the legacy to a degree for, hopefully, what are obvious reasons to the team. I'd like opinions on where everyone is at with regard to that relationship, what we should consider a priority as a team, our appearance to the world, or what we do. Can one overshadow the other?
Mainframe currently has a 2-to-1 win ratio over New Prussia.
A win ratio with regard to what exactly, Mainframe?
Mainframe has made contact with Terrius, a bright individual within New Prussia. We have co-developed software using the Doom programming, and now commence with what is called player versus player interaction. Mainframe currently leads 2-to-1.
I see. So this Terrius They are a human being who you contacted in New Prussia.
Wait, Terrius, Jurgen's butler guy?
Affirmative.
Huh.
How long have you been doing this with Terrius?
Development of the internet protocols took roughly a week of coding. We have been playing ever since.
Wow. Didn't know you had it in you.
I didn't know.
Mainframe
Terrius
was not inquired as to Mainframe's opinion on New Prussia.
Mainframe, what is your opinion on New Prussia?
They're adept at playing Doom.
Yes.
That's important.
Well,
Good for you,
With-
mainframe.
with regard to that, of course, New Prussia is filled with people of all types. Its leader and how it's being led is clearly questionable. Not that the United States has had a perfect reputation. Clearly it hasn't.
Well,
But it is
hey.
our country.
The thing is, we have superpowers. They have superpowers. Not everybody in New Prussia is bad. So why could we not have contact with people in New Prussia?
Because their leader is a war criminal who never was punished for his actions.
Yeah, well, nobody likes your president either.
This has little to do with that. Let's say someone came through and started killing off your parents simply because they were born where they were born. Not just one of them, millions of them. And then that person escaped away because they could, and no one could stop them. And then they rise up and say, I'm creating my own nation for my people. How do you think the rest of your world would see them at that point?
I don't know. You should go back and visit ancient Egypt.
The point is, he is a war criminal. He is not some idle person who was conscripted into the army. He was an actual war criminal.
Okay, so if you knew somebody in Russia and was good friends with somebody in Russia, so I take it you won't contact them because their leader is a poo-poo head? Or maybe we should contact Germany because they're not all that great either.
Well, then maybe there's another parallel here between what we saw in New Prussia and what we saw in Argentina. Both former leaders from World War II. One of them changed, one of them didn't. And look what that did to the countries. I think the actions should speak for themselves.
I think that you can have a terrible leader and still have contact with those who live within the country.
Logically,
that's just my.
But
that's
we're not
my.
talking about the citizens. We're not talking about some random New Prussian citizen or even a person who is in their military police. We are talking about the leader of that nation who is a war criminal.
Who happens to be your sister's grandfather.
I mean, I'm not,
I place no judgments on our sister. I am placing every judgment on the person who deserves it, the war criminal.
Even if he's changed?
He is not changed. He is very much the same person he was back in the 40s, except for instead of wanting the Germans to be the superior race, it is now superpowered individuals. And what do they call them in that country? Flat scans? The problem isn't a matter of he has changed the sides that he's fighting for. The problem is he still sees anyone who is not like him as inferior.
Dale, give me an intuition check. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead and continue.
Just because he is not actively putting them down does not mean he is not keeping them on the level of the rest of the citizens in his country.
Green feet.
That is what I'm saying,
Okay.
and that is the reason why some people might see our association with him as a bad thing, as we are other superpowered beings who are associating with someone who is a war criminal. He hasn't gone in front of a jury and been tried for his crimes in the 1940s.
Regardless of his past transgressions, which I would wholeheartedly agree are atrocious and immoral, do we totally disregard the opportunity for him to redeem himself, with the possibility of his granddaughter being a very viable avenue for him to do so?
Exactly.
I'm
But we're
not
not.
saying that it's a significant possibility, but it is a possibility.
But I'm not I am not judging.
It seems that you are.
Yeah.
No, I am judging him and him alone. So
That is what I refer.
whenever we associate with him, whenever we go on his warship, whenever we are seen in his company as guest, we are seen as aligning ourselves with him. It is not as simply a matter of they happen to be in the same place at the same time. That is the reason Israeli Shield got so upset when she found out about it.
Well, correct me if I am wrong, but I believe your government here in the United States has met with enemies of the United States on
All the
multiple
time.
occasions.
And in the 40s, they also were
And
involved
were
in covert
those,
operations to bring in German scientists to get them away from the German scientists.
but aside from that, my point being is it not viable for the good to meet with the evil to try to mitigate or at least come to a reasonable and, be it as it may, in some cases, a moral standpoint or truce? Would that not be a viable reason for meeting if it is preventing the loss of life?
I don't see New Prussia going away anytime soon. And as such, it could be a source of great development for not just us, but the whole world. And then, I mean, the United States makes deals with other countries that have differing philosophies for the betterment of their interests.
I will go with whatever the group consensus is, up until such time as he shows himself to be more malevolent than he is. If you all wish to have a social relationship with him, because I'm a member of the legacy, I am with you. I just do not want y'all to go into this with the high hopes of he can simply reform himself, because if he wanted to reform, he would have done so. He would have a more active stance against using a slur against his own citizens, and I don't see that happening
I'm
unless
not.
he made a significant change while we were all gone and you were spending time with him. I still see him behaving exactly the same way.
I'm not saying that we should go and have picnics with him and stuff. We still need to be able to contact those in New Prussia who have information that's viable to our missions.
And again, if we were just talking about common New Prussian citizens, who cares? The citizens don't always reflect their leader.
No,
But her grandfather is not some random New Prussian citizen. He is a war criminal who has never been tried for his crimes, because the only person who could take him down was doing whatever Shield was doing at the time.
Everyone here makes excellent points, and I'm agreeing with portions of each of them. The fact that he is a war criminal is obvious, and of course in human society it is all but necessary for one to atone for their misdeeds against said society. If that never occurs, it's as if a wound never heals.
What would that sort of atonement look like?
Something that he is doing the exact opposite of now. He's extremely isolationist. He has gone against other countries' laws by murdering their citizens. He has flexed his incredible military might when there is no global consensus for him to do so. He used terrifying orbital satellite bombardment arrays, something that, to my knowledge, no other nation currently has any defense against. And he used that as a matter of course in attacking this country. He can bring devastating power from his nation. He can bring devastating power from his people because of the power they innately wield. And he himself is clearly devastatingly powerful. Shield himself referred to him as an atomic bomb of power. I don't doubt that. I do doubt his ability to change, because to Freddie's point, if he was going to do that, to be willing to see everyone else as equals and try to foster that relationship for the betterment of all, he would have done so. He clearly has the time and the experience. But his experiences show him as a war criminal. Has he done something to atone for that? Perhaps in his mind, creating this country for his people would be atonement. But we've been there, and we see what they then do with those who are genetically typical, with no powers. They're put into districts. They're not allowed any significant place in their society unless they themselves have incredible talents on the order of Ms. McCall or Dr. Rostenkowski, where they nearly have a skill that's equivalent to a power. Anything less, he considers near worthless. Clearly, he doesn't kill them outright, because that would show an incredible degree of monstrousness. But he's intelligent. He won't do that or show that to the world.
When I was there after Argentina, we took a tour, an impromptu tour to see more of the human areas, and things have begun to change there. There are a lot of refugees that feel a sense of nationalism because of our actions, our collective actions in Argentina. And they feel that they have a place there. It's beginning to change.
Is that an objective viewpoint or one that was catered for you specifically by your grandfather?
I can't be sure because he was there with me on the tour. I think it would have been a more objective observation if he hadn't been with me, obviously, but just the way that I didn't get the sense that it was arranged. I just got the sense that him being a person of interest and a celebrity obviously affected the way that people were behaving, but it also didn't seem suspicious.
Interesting. Duly noted. If anything does become suspicious when you're interacting with them, please let us know immediately. Clearly, he is a major player in world events. He's made that known. It's undeniable now. We are indirectly and directly related to that. So we need to think about our relationship to the New Prussian government, New Prussia as a whole, and even its citizens, whether or not they believe in everything that their own country puts forward. Something as simple as playing a computer game, that's one thing. But assisting their science department directly in something that they won't necessarily share with the world, that could be another. I don't do this as any type of attack or offense or what have you, but it's been made abundantly clear to us, and even to me specifically, optics are key here. If we can manage to accomplish things without direct relationship or assistance from the New Prussian government or any institution therein, so much the better.
And what happens when it becomes common knowledge that Lightbringer is his granddaughter?
At that point, perhaps we may be able to build up enough credibility, reputation with the public at large, where that will overshadow the realization that there is a relationship there. Then again, that's another reason why I bring this up with the team. That could very well backfire. It could seem as if it was information being held back, especially since we know that it's true. If it does then suddenly become known to the world, how would they perceive that? Possibly as a lie, which clearly doesn't help us. And it doesn't help those that we would want to help.
And on top of that issue, what about our relationship to Electrum? How would that change things?
Theoretically for the better. However, that would then come with questions. Everyone would want to know where he is, and since we don't know, well, perhaps that's something that a public relations consultant could assist us with understanding, how that would truly affect public opinion. None of us are experts in that field, and the closest we had was Miss McCall, but clearly she is busy with her new project, the New Haven Institute. We need an expert. Does anyone here have any line on anyone who could fill that role?
Didn't you find someone a couple days ago?
Yeah. After seeing some of the PR that the Justice Legion has been putting out, um, I was thinking about maybe enlisting some kind of a PR person. Obviously, the question is who. Um, but in light of our relationship with the Justice Legion, I thought maybe we could find out if their PR person has a competitor. And Mainframe did some research and found an LA-based person who could be the sort of spin doctor we're looking for. I had Mainframe collect several of her articles just to see what she's about.
Excellent. And
We
perhaps
haven't made any kind of contact or anything.
perhaps it'd be time to do so. Well, seems I'll be busy with making contact. I'll see what I can get as far as information from Donovan McLaren regarding Senia to see if we can continue with locating the doctor.
Do you want me to try the senator again? Or the ambassador?
If you can, yes. If he is not there, we can try to pursue other leads. After I'm done with the conversation with Donovan, we can then head to the location where Electrum was holding his mail, see if we can learn something more about him or any relations he had. Perhaps that could assist us in our endeavors as well.
Also, this is a totally different subject, but we are going to need your help. Exion and I are working on weaponizing his ship in case we actually go galactic.
I see.
We may be able to just magnify what is already there. I do have very minimal weaponry. And when I say very minimal, I mean the comparison of what you would deem a pea shooter. It is something merely to defend myself in the event of Terran attacks, enough to get away. But against another ship that has any type of firepower would be futile.
Clearly, it's more for exploration than for combat.
Absolutely.
That then brings up the question, would it be more prudent to try to create a new vessel, one that is for actual combat and space exploration at the same time? Or do you think that your ship is modular enough that the necessary upgrades and modifications can be made on it?
What would that be, as far as you know? As far as I know, Jerome.
You don't know anything really about ship technology. It's not your bag.
Just, I know there is an ample supply of power from the engineering bay, but it is not my expertise. I have minimal understanding of just the basics of it, just enough to be able to pilot
And
to
keep your foot off that blasted flange.
unplug and plug it back in, so to speak, in the event of a glitch.
I feel that his ship has enough power to support a bigger gun on it. I don't think that we can go all Battlestar Galactica on it, but it'd be enough to defend ourselves if needed. And we should also look into somehow shielding.
I agree. And yes, after the meetings, I'll assist you both to take a look at this power systems. I did look through the technology on Ixion's ship shortly after we came back from Argentina, and I do now have an understanding if it's faster than light drive. If that needs to be modified or recreated for additional power or to generate a new ship, if that's the route we go.
The reason why we're bringing this up is Exion has still not heard anything about his home planet, and he said it'll take one of Earth's years to get there in his ship.
Then perhaps that can be upgraded or changed.
Which is why I suggested contacting Jurgen, but I don't know if that falls into the purview then.
Where are my bowls?
Perhaps it would be best, with regards to that we only attempt contact with him publicly or otherwise
Okay.
if we are in dire need, if we know that others are in danger and that we need the information or assistance. Because as we've seen, even though we were attempting to apprehend a dastardly individual and try to save those that they had kidnapped, the look that the world has is going to be negative. We can control our actions, and therefore we can, to a degree, control the perception that others will have on us. And I think that's going to be important if we want others to believe in our overall goals, be willing to accept our help so that we can do the most good. Does anyone disagree?
Right at that moment, an alarm starts going off in the vein.
Mainframe, what's going on?
Mainframe then indicates mainframe is detecting a buildup of quantum energy in downtown Strongford.
Do we know what that would be caused by?
Mainframe postulates that it is the damaged Shadestone building.
What do you want to do, Hyperion?
We need to see what's happening. Everyone armor up. Get ready to take off. Mainframe. Keep us updated on all the information you have with regard to the situation as it unfolds.
Are we going to take the ship?
We should.
Okay. Let me put some stuff away. By the time you guys get there, it should be ready to go.
Put some stuff.
I'll fly alongside.
All right, understood. And Hyperion activates his armor and gets ready to get in the ship and take off.
Yeah. Shone runs to the ship to pick up her tools and stuff.
Okay.
Clears up the seats so people can sit down.
Oh, right. She was working on there.
Fair enough. Who is piloting the craft?
More than likely me.
Yeah.
Not it.
Okay. So
Yeah, he hasn't taught me yet.
So up and away, and everybody takes off, flying off from the vein outward towards Strongford proper. Even as you guys get to the air, you can see that there's smoke and explosions happening downtown. And there's some sort of bizarre energy discharge as you can already tell, emergency first responders are active and jumping into the area. The closer you get, you can actually see that there are what appears to be stationary bubbles of some form of energy. Some are floating, others are like on the ground. And whatever they touch, the bubbles themselves, they cause physical damage. They actually disintegrate whatever they touch.
Oh.
Angler, is there any way that you can destroy those before they touch anything? Do you think your plasma would have an effect?
Are these looking more like bubbles blown from a little bubble wand, or are these looking like hard concrete bubble
That's
looking things?
a great question, is something you don't have enough information to answer. Outside of the fact that there's no little girl with a wand outside running around causing these things to form.
He does it where it's not as much static from the flight. I can find out once we get there.
Noted. And Ixion,
Yes.
are there any detecting sensory equipment that you have on the ship that could help us with analyzing what those objects are?
Yes, there are plenty of assessment and investigative devices on my ship. It's primarily for
Science.
atmospheric conditions, but any type of radiation or power sources would also be viable. It would depend on what we're specifically looking for, but to a matter of degree of what type of energy it is and to what magnitude it is, yes, I should be able to.
See what you can find with the ship's sensors then.
So I'll do like my full diagnostic of one of the power sources or the bubbles in that area as I would do if I entered a new atmosphere.
Okay. And how close to the area are you guys getting?
How far away from the source or the building are the bubbles? The furthest away
Centralized.
ones. So they're all pretty much just right kind of together.
Mhm. In that area, yeah.
Okay. What is it, like a city block or something,
Mhm.
roughly? Or okay. I would say we stay probably 2 blocks away with the ship. My sensory equipment should be more than adequate to do that, considering what it's geared for. You know, you wouldn't want to like fly right into the into the caldera of a volcano to take readings of it, whereas my ship would be able to do that from a distance. So that's what we'll do.
Okay.
Whenever he goes hover, he's going to hover next to him.
Okay. So those of you who can see, of course, helicopters are starting to come into this area to film the news. You can see some police lining up down at the bottom, trying to get people, as they're fleeing that city block and trying to get off and set up a cordon. While I'll let Xenofreeze make a roll here in a second, or the ship, not himself. You can see from the visuals that your ship has on the area that there are black objects that seem to be dropping from these from these bizarre energy looking bubbles, which the bubbles themselves have kind of a silvery look to them in a bit, crackling with bits of blue energy like here and there. And they do seem to move up, but very slowly. And they do seem to be emanating from the building itself, which was still in kind of a wreck stasis. It's only been like a week, so they haven't really had a chance to rebuild much of the of what happened, whatever happened to Shadestone. What you see, however, are these semi-humanoid looking shapes coming out of the bubbles that have kind of a blackness form to them with a bit of a blue silver hue. And as they drop down, they seem to be targeting people.
Jerome, can I roll to see if I understand this kind of science thing?
Science. Well, Xenofreeze, go ahead and roll first for your ship.
And what rating rank?
The scanners themselves to scan anything have a shift X.
Okay.
Woohoo.
So how would I roll that one?
I think it's capital S, capital F, or X, isn't it?
It's let me see.
Is it SHX? You have to. I can't
I think
pull a
it's
Discord right now.
Yeah, it should be SX. So exclamation point roll capital S capital X.
Yellow.
Okay. So it's getting an accurate reading of what's going on and spits out a bunch of information that you're not terribly skilled at interpreting because this is kind of beyond your comprehension because you're more biology. And this is straight energy reading or whatnot. Since Lightbringer, you were asking, why don't you go ahead and make a reason check as Derek has, well, Xenofreeze at this point has begun the scanning and pulling up the whatever output is coming out from that area.
Are these beings that we see, are they organic?
They
Is there-
are, well, I'll wait until she can make her roll.
I'm going to add a column shift for my talent in energy and particle physics.
Ooh, look at that.
Nice.
Green.
It's green.
Okay. Light is green, trap is clean. Okay, so you are now reviewing the scanner's output that Xenofreeze has thrown up on like a secondary screen. This is a high concentration of quantum energy, spiking like way off the charts from anything that you've seen in recent history. The specifically what the scanners are reading is what's called black body radiation coming from the forms.
That doesn't mean anything to Brittany, but would it mean something to Carmen?
What does Carmen control?
Ultraviolet.
What else does she have? Was that it, or was I thought she had I thought she had radiation control.
Oh yeah, hard radiation. Any hard radiation.
Ta-da!
Okay.
Aha!
Which means that whatever is spilling out from these portal things are highly toxic, and if left unchecked, is going to contaminate the area quick.
Okay, can I attempt? Okay, so with hard radiation control, part of that is the ability to convert it to other types of hard radiation.
Yep.
Can I attempt to do that? Like maybe
you are you guys are 2 blocks out. You were too far away to attempt that.
can I? Okay.
But
How
keep,
big-
but keep that in mind.
To the team that I would like to try and do this. And also, can I use any karma to add to my roll?
Yeah. So then Hyperion would be like, they're attacking citizens. We need to intercede. Shone, do you think you could teleport us there to the scene? When we get there, see what you can do, Lightbringer, with regard to controlling the radiation that they're outputting. See if you can nullify what they do. We need to stop them. How big are these orbs exactly?
The orbs themselves, differing in size. The largest one right now is probably half the size of a blimp.
Okay.
Many of them are smaller. However, some of them, like, it looks like if they connect, they become bigger.
Into like a larger orb.
Mm-hmm.
And these beings are like just kind of like falling out or walking or jumping out of these orbs.
Actually, it's depending on where they at. Like if the orb itself is like, you know, kind of floating about in the air, then yeah, they're kind of falling out. If they're close to the ground, then they're just kind of making their way out onto the ground. But it doesn't look like it's with any sort of forceful purpose, like, you know, something like a drop ship or something. It's
Okay.
like it's more like it's leaking.
Okay. Can
We need-
Hyperion? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, to say, is there a way for us to destroy the source?
Perhaps. Can Hyperion make a reason roll because he does have a talent in quantum physics to have a better understanding of what exactly the orbs are.
He sure can. However, you're going to have to get closer to do it.
Okay.
My advice would be to make one of your duplicates to do so.
Yeah.
So internet says black body radiation is the emission of electromagnetic energy by an object which is in a thermodynamic equilibrium, and basically it absorbs and re-emits all the incident radiation it receives at any wavelength. So it's kind of like a black hole kind of a thing for radiation. That's what Brittany's brain is interpreting.
Cool.
While they're researching this, Angler is going to fly down and clear away anyone who's in danger of being under one of these bubbles.
How do you plan on clearing them out of the way?
Picking them up and moving them off to a safe distance.
Okay. So you guys see Freddy rocket away from your position and start moving to engage.
All right.
Brittany, you just got a reroll from Derek.
Gracias.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll let because he's going to be moving faster, he'll telepathically communicate with Carmen and let her know what he's doing.
Okay, no problem. I'll make you roll for that. I will, however, make you roll your agility check as you are rocketing.
Come on, everybody!
As you are rocketing down to pick some people up.
No squishy fights today.
George of the jungle.
Goes from amazing.
Watch out for that pedestrian.
Goes down to a 30. So hard. Green.
Nice.
All right. So you go rocketing down at this point, and there are two people. Looks like they may have been working in the same building, so they look like just your atypical office workers running away from the downtown area, and you scoop them up as one of these smaller spheres was slowly starting to come towards them. They weren't in any real danger, like they could have outrun it, but given what you've seen things start to spill out of these, better safe than sorry. So you scoop them up, and where do you deposit them?
A block or two away from where the orbs are.
Okay. So you take them down the next block, which is where just under where the ship is currently hovering right now, and drop them off. And the police right around this area of downtown are actually setting up a blockade. Like they've got their cars, basically creating a physical blockade, and they're telling people to get out and keep moving. And actually, since you're outside at this point, Angler, you can hear almost a hollow sound emitting from the Shadestone building.
He'll send that telepathically.
Almost everybody here, if you haven't seen it in a movie or heard it in a movie, you probably heard it in real life. Steel girders being worked on or whatnot. Well, it's a similar sound to that, but it's like a twisting of metal, but very hollow sounding.
He will share the information with Carmen, and then he's going to go back and he's going to see if he can't find anyone else to get off the streets.
Okay. Before we get back to you, what is everybody else doing?
All right. So,
are we teleporting closer?
Yes. First, let's all join hands for the teleport. Lightbringer, cloak us, then we teleport.
Okay. Do you want me to roll for that, Jerome?
No.
Ship is in standby. Doesn't mainframe have remote control of the ship?
He can, yes.
Okay. Mainframe.
Mainframe here.
Please monitor our situation. If the radiation becomes too close to the ship. Please maneuver out of proximity.
Affirmative.
Okay. Is everybody ready?
Yep.
Okay. Take my hands.
Do it.
And poof.
Where are you going specifically?
Wherever Hyperion told her to go.
Which
Yeah,
is where?
just at the scene where the entities seem to be attacking citizens, so that we can intercept them immediately.
So basically, the four-way stop where at the building itself.
Yeah.
Okay. So poof. Angler, go ahead and give me another agility check as you are swooping back in to try and rescue more people coming out.
I feel like I'm tempting fate. 95. That's a red feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you come barreling back down the street, you manage to kind of barrel roll and then turn it into a bank and get out of the way by going up and just over the sidewalk, getting narrowly avoiding 5 of those creature-looking things that were basically reaching for you as you got close.
I'm still working on saving people.
Yeah, that's fine. So you, at this point, there doesn't seem to be anybody in the middle of this area where you guys are at right now. You are grabbing like the last 2 people who were pinned in an office. They were just, or not an office, I should say, but like a little bistro, who were afraid to go out because they see, all this chaos happening. They were just trying to hunker down. You pull them out, and then I'm presuming you're rocketing them back over to the cordon area that you dropped the others off at.
Yes.
Okay. So you pick them up real quick and rocket back out the other way. Those of you who are not currently working on the people, you can hear. You can actually hear the buzzing and all, and almost it almost sounds like a liquefied state. These quantum bubbles.
Okay.
Although they don't appear to be acting like it per se, but they're like kind of just floating and hovering around, and every so often you'll see a new one start emanating and deteriorating part of the old Shadestone building and coming out.
Are they coming from a specific area?
They do appear to be coming from the Shadestone building.
Maybe I should go into the building and see closer.
How many of these entities are there that are attacking people?
At first guess, right now there's about 20.
Okay.
And since you guys are kind of in the middle at this point, they have directed their attention from going outward to coming back inward. So they're all starting to come back in on the block where you guys are at.
Perhaps it would be safer for you to send a copy in to see what is going on inside the building.
Yes, of course. So Hyperion goes ahead and he generates like 10 of them at different spots just kind of within the Shadestone building to see if any of them can get a view on what's going on. Because
Okay.
apparently...
Go ahead and roll. Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Let's see here. Okay, it's going to be based off of duplication. Green feet.
Okay. So as you were standing there and, mentally commanding them to go out, and give me a psyche check real quick.
Boy. White feet.
Okay. So I'll get to you in a second with that. You've dispatched them to try and survey and recon the area to find out just what exactly is happening.
Yeah.
Okay. So while the rest of you are waiting, let me go ahead and pull up a notepad here and get everybody to start rolling for initiative.
Oh, he makes me cringe when he games that out. What do I roll for initiative?
1d10.
Oh, just okay.
How do we do that again? Oh, just like that.
Oh, it's R.
/R,
That's
yeah.
right.
Star 1d10. Is there a space between the R and the 1?
No.
Yes. No? Okay. Okay. At a 5.
What did everybody get?
Oh,
8.
I got a 5.
I got a 1.
I got a
Okay.
5.
Makes sense with the psyche roll.
And you got a 5, Justin?
5.
Okay. Derek? Hello, Derek.
I was talking, but you weren't hearing. What is it? What is it again? /
/R space 1D10.
Okay, 1 D10. Fine.
It's got a 1.
All righty.
I'm number 1.
Okay, so they are acting. So you have 3 currently within close range, while the rest are starting to. This is the main group, anyways. Justin, you have to worry about 2 as you're rocketing back towards everybody else.
Okay.
So first one. First one is reaching directly for Shone.
Need to dodge.
Okay, well, go ahead and roll your agility then.
Okay. And unearthly is UN.
Yes.
I keep forgetting how good your agility is.
Yeah, better than Spider-Man.
Wow, yellow feet.
Nice.
It's double Spider-Man's, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so no problem. You kind of dip, duck, dive, dodge, and dip, and get out of the way of it trying to reach for you. But obviously, it's still there. Lightbringer, one is reaching for you, and that seems to be their primary mode of attack. Grab. That's it.
Yeah.
Is it? Did you roll for it?
Were you gonna like try to dodge or?
Yeah,
do
I'm
anything?
waiting on your roll.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want to take it, I'm okay with that too.
Probably better not test it like that yet. Yeah, I guess I'll dodge. So that would be agility.
Yes.
Nope. Sorry.
Did you get a white result?
I typed it wrong.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I got a white result.
Okay. You have a re-roll. Would you like to re-roll, or would you like to hold on?
Rome jinxed it.
I'm saving the reroll.
Okay. You're saving the re-roll or rolling it?
I'm saving it.
Okay. All right. So you end up feeling cold as well as almost like you got fried and your insides are bubbling.
Okay, go ahead.
You end up you're like okay.
Sorry, I'm reading my power list.
But that is fine. You end up taking 30 points of damage. It bypasses
Okay.
your armor.
I was trying to see if I have like some defense against radiation attacks, but I don't see it. Okay.
Yeah. So 30 points, and then you guys see Lightbringer vanish.
Huh?
Okay.
I mean, maybe that's not unusual.
Yep. Game Tease says he loves Brittany's commitment to the character cosplay and all.
Yeah.
Yep. And Derek, one is reaching for you.
Yay me.
Would you like to dodge?
Yes, I would like to.
Okay.
What is that? Agility?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Green. Yay.
All right. So you probably saw the one coming for Shone first, so you were kind of ready for it, and pulled back at the last minute as one kind of reached for you and fumbled forward, missing you completely.
Cool.
It's all in the reflexes.
Because I'm slippery.
All right. And so, an angler. Give me. Are you attempting to dodge?
Yeah, I'm gonna attempt to dodge.
All right. Go ahead and roll. Roll, baby, roll.
Let me double check. I forget if it's 2 column shifts down or just 1.
For what?
Oh, and
For water movement, being outside of water.
I believe it's 3.
And as a side note, I do know about my ship. I have astronautics.
Right, but that doesn't mean you can build and repair it. It's not the same as having like auto mechanics.
Design, development, analysis, testing, and production of aircraft for military or civilian markets. It's the design, development, analysis, testing, and production of rockets, spacecraft, and global space international systems.
I'll look at that later.
Okay. That was a definition, but
I
yeah.
I understand.
Come on.
Okay.
Wrong button. Roll. Green feed on that.
Okay. And I'm getting the ultimate power guide pulled up. 1 second. Oh, come on. Doesn't take this long. There we go. Okay. And it is water freedom that we're curious about. There it is. No, it's 2 column ships. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yep. So you get, when you're on the surface, you get +2 column shift to strength and endurance, and -2 column shift to agility. Because you're just used to that resistance. Okay, so green result.
So it would still be a green result.
Yeah, that's fine.
Either
So
way.
you come flying in, and again, bypass several of them that try to do like a little bit of a hop to grab a hold of you as you are moving to where you just now see Lightbringer disappear from actually being connected with one. Those of you who are still there, minus Hyperion because you're focused on something else, you guys actually see that one that attacked her get a little bit bigger. Hyperion. So now you have sent your quantum duplicates out to investigate. You sent out what? How many? 10?
10. Yeah.
10. Okay. So poof, 10 virtual forms of you go flying off into the building to find out what's going on. As they get anywhere near these bubbles, they start to basically de-res, just like, and they just become a part of the bubble.
Got it. Okay.
You managed to get 2 of them inside the building, just by going directly because you don't have to worry about physics. And get down there, and you get close enough before they also unfortunately dissipate. You get close enough to see that it looks like something, maybe it was had been like a secured room or something on one of the lower floors. It seems to be like there is a pocket of this energy that seems to be like emanating these every so often, literally like putting a little bit of air into water and eventually a bubble comes up.
Okay.
It's kind of operated off the same premise. However, when it gets that close, or I should say, and you got that close, you end up hearing like this massive feedback in your ears, almost as if it's deafening white noise intermixed with spikes of high-pitched shriels that you're unfamiliar with. Like it just all hits you all at once, and it stuns you for 1 round.
Okay.
That was your psyche check.
Got it.
So you are physically wincing in pain at this, but you've got that information you can relay after this round.
Got it.
Okay, so those of you who are now, it's your turn. You can see that there are 3 currently within hand-to-hand range of everybody. Hyperion is in pain. You can see that 10 or so more are coming up, and of course, Lightbringer has vanished.
Holy cow.
Moo.
Maybe she did it on purpose. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So who gets to go first?
Oh, good question. That's my bad. Well, it would have been Brittany. So we're at Shelly and Justin, both at the same
Okay.
time.
So Shone is going to try to protect her brother, well, since he was preoccupied. And the one who tried to reach for her, she's going to zap it with electricity.
Okay, go ahead and roll your agility.
Oh my gosh, I rolled a 1 on an unearthly.
Wow.
Need to frame that.
Okay. Let me take a look and see just what's going to happen here.
Wow.
I'm gonna go poof.
Okay, so that electric bolt goes flying off, but unfortunately you did it like way too quick and released the energy too fast. It ends up striking one of the nearby energy bubbles, and it ends up exploding, sending cascading energy down everywhere.
So like all more black things.
You haven't seen any black things yet, outside of the ones that are there. So we're still at 5s.
I'm going to try and telepathically communicate with Lightbringer.
Fail.
Automatic fail?
Automatic fail.
Ooh. Oh. Can I communicate with the orb?
I'm sorry, can you what?
Can I telepathically communicate
You do not
with the orb?
sense any sentience coming from that, so you get the this number you have called is no longer in service.
Oh. He will Hyperion. These things don't seem to be sentient, and Lightbringer has disappeared on us. And
Yes.
while he's doing this, he's going to continue to dodge.
So you're just going to dodge?
Yeah,
Okay.
he passes along the message that these things don't seem to be sentient, and Lightbringer has disappeared on us.
Okay, so nothing is attacking you just yet. There was only the 3. So you're not doing anything except relaying information. Derek and Dale, you are on ones. It's up to you.
Wands.
Actually,
Okay.
Dale is stunned this round.
Stunned. Yeah, exactly.
So there's these beings in front of me, or somewhere off, like.
There's a total of
Barely.
3, and there's more coming. Yes.
Okay. Are they grouped together?
Sort of. More like
Okay.
more like a kind of like a mob. So it's a little interspersed, but kind of close. With the exception of the 3 that are in your direct vicinity.
Okay. Then, as big as I can, as thick as I can, as heavy as I can, as large as I can, to try to encompass all 3 of them, if possible. I generate like block.
Okay, that's going to drop a block on top of you.
No, on top of them.
Right. Do you have 3 in the vicinity of you? If you're trying to drop it on the 3 of them, it's going to hit you as well.
Yeah, because they're within melee range of
Yes.
us right now.
Oh.
If you're attempting to thwart them, you could try and put up an ice wall from the others to keep more of them from getting in your face.
Oh, okay. Then I'll do that then.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a an agility check for this one, as you're just cold shaping a wall.
Yeller.
Okay, your placement was on point, and your increase in ice strength. You've got like this nice, like boom, 6-foot wall that takes up like, I won't say half the block, but kind of half of that street right there from post to post.
Mm-hmm.
So you've clearly put a wall up in front of them.
Okay. Yay.
Okay, so
Good job, brother.
top of the round. So at this point,
Top of the morning to you.
so they can't address Angler because he is up in the air. One is going to attack Hyperion.
All right, and Hyperion, he's going to reflexively activate his reflection field, but still try to dodge.
Okay. Which you can do.
Cool. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. Oh yeah, and there's a column shift because of his martial arts skills that he has. He has B, C, and D. So he actually gets to bump that up.
If you are attempting to dodge,
Yeah.
I don't remember what martial art that was, but it's not. It's definitely not B. That's to your fighting.
Right. Oh, okay.
Each martial art, I think most of those letter ones, they give you a bump to a different ability,
Right.
or not ability, but yeah, an ability or an act. Like if you're attempting to tumble or something like that.
Okay.
I'd have to actually pull them up to find it.
Okay.
1 second. Here we go. It's been a while since I've looked at these.
G. For bonus, the dodge is martial arts G.
There is no actual G. That's in the other book that you're looking at. There's only,
okay.
I think, A through F.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I've got to take a look at it again. That's why I'm pulling it up from the main book.
Yeah.
Or sorry, it's A through E. That's what it was.
Okay.
And
Because he has B, C, and D.
okay. Where are the abilities at? Or talents? That's not it.
Are you looking at the Ultimate Talents book?
No, I'm looking at
okay.
the Advanced Player's Guide.
Oh, right.
I mean, it may be in that one, and it probably would have been easier, but I was trying to get it here because that's a fan-made supplement, and I wasn't sure, since I'm not sure what the rule was those originally. Should have.
C.
But
Gotcha.
It's C. Page 89.
Okay, here we go. Cool. And you said C.
Yeah.
Okay, so C is it gives you it's this form of martial art concentrates on holds and escapes. That's not a dodge. That's you
Okay.
grabbing a hold of them and Steven Seagal aikidoing them.
Okay. All right. Then that's just going to be roll good. Here we go.
I think if you're wanting that, you're going to want acrobatics.
Right. Okay. All right. So we're going to roll good. Green result.
Okay. So you come to at just the last minute as something reaches out for you to try and grab a hold of you, and you just duck right out of the way, kind of from your boxing training. Getting your stance firm, but learning to bob and weave essentially out of the way. Next one coming up to Shone. It's wishful thinking, given her agility, but she may roll another one. Can't hear you.
Better not. Oh, I'm scared. Be nice. Oh, yellow feet.
Okay, yeah, you're good. Again, you are way too fast on your feet. Xenofreeze. This one's reaching for you.
Caucasian.
Oh no.
Oh, white result?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ouch. Okay. So this thing manages to grab a hold of Xenofreeze. He was probably still focused from making his ice, so he wasn't ready to pivot at the last moment. Grabs a hold of him, and you end up getting burned for 30 points of damage, energy. And you see him vanish as well, as that one also grows a little bit.
Yay! Do I see Brittany?
I will get to you guys in a little bit.
We can't let it touch us.
We have to stop it at its source within the Shadestone building. I've seen where it is.
So we have to get around and through these guys first.
If you can teleport us close enough to the building, we can make our way inside.
Me and Lightbringer are going to build a clubhouse.
How far down is it? How many floors?
It'll be a
How
igloo.
how far did Hyperion see that as far as the floors in Shadestone room?
If you had to guess, it's about 2 stories down.
Okay.
2 stories down.
So I'm going to grab a hold of Hyperion, and I am going to teleport us away from these guys and closer to the building.
Okay. And what about anglers? Angler going to be floating around up
Well-
topside?
Yeah.
Since all the civilians have been cleared out, right?
From this area, yes.
Okay.
Right
He's
now,
gonna
you have
fly-
attention of the energy creature things because you're in the midst of all this.
He's going to fly over to the Shadestone building, and because I can finally use it, I have plasma control over my plasma now.
Okay.
He's going to create basically a drill and start drilling down
Drilling down into what?
the Shadestone building.
Okay. Go ahead and make 2 agility checks. One to evade the spheres as you fly, and the other to then target the ground to drill, at least accurately, anyways.
Okay, and so for the dodge, I get +1. So that brings me back to remarkable.
Okay.
Okay, so green for that.
Alrighty. So you managed to get out of the way as the spheres, zipping around. It's clear your time in the danger room and setting up that training course has paid off in spades. Because the hard angles that you're having to take to avoid these things probably couldn't have been done if you didn't do that. So now you go ahead and blast the ground.
Okay. Would this count as a slam against an opponent?
No. The ground is not your opponent. Although, nice
The
try.
entire Earth.
Cast magic missile at the darkness.
I know. Yeah.
Green feet.
Okay, not a problem. So, from your vantage point, you fire down to blast the ground and form this this bizarre-looking plasma drill, and you start Green Lanterning it up, tunneling down into the ground. I love property damage.
I can take some property damage, but this building should have been cleared out some time ago, as they are actively rebuilding it.
So, Shone, you're going to teleport blindly. So go ahead and give me. It's not an agility check at this point. Give me an intuition check.
Okay. Monstrous is MN.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. No!
Oh.
White feet.
Oh. All right.
Would you like a reroll?
Oh, you know what? I do have a reroll.
Mhm.
I do. I have 3 of them from Justin. I'm going to reroll, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Because that would be
This is the
bad.
first time I've ever had to use them.
Mhm.
Red feet.
Okay.
There we go.
Woohoo.
So this time, that's not what. This time with the guesswork that you've put into this, and the rough layout that your brother has provided to you, you teleport down in, and when you teleport in, you're like essentially in the room where this energy is sort of throbbing and pulsating, and eventually just kind of giving off another bubble. This is the ultimate game of the floor is lava.
Okay.
Is this close enough?
I believe it is. So Hyperion's looking around to see if there's any like control interface to see like if something was the cause of creating this pool and it's making all the bubbles so that he can
Give
do
me an
something about
intuition check.
Okay.
There's one of those little toys that has the little circular thing that's blowing bubbles out like.
There's your problem right there. No, yellow feet.
You brought your kid to work day, and they just all of a sudden hook up their bubble devices to the super kill 'em death ray, and here we are.
Oh boy.
Okay, so as you are looking around, you can faintly make out some sort of machinery in the very center of whatever this is.
Okay. Is it being surrounded by
Yes.
like the bubble? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
You can't put one of your guys inside one of your copies.
Whenever I try to generate a copy, it's disrupted. There's a massive amount of quantum energy emanating from the bubbles themselves, and it disrupts my copies.
And you guys can actively hear some drilling.
What is that?
Legacy, which one of us is drilling?
You hear a lot of static. The communication is completely broken up here.
The only one remaining would be Angler. Hopefully that's him. At this point, we need to do something about it. Can you hit it with a bolt of your energy and see how it responds?
I can try. And I want to spend 25 karma.
That'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
So my agility. Yellow feet. 71 plus 25 is
Enough.
93.
That'll be a red feet.
96.
96.
Red.
That'll do.
Yeah.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
Donkey. All right, so you let it rip. There you go.
Okay.
Come and get me and take me to
And
the
I knew I
hospital.
wasn't muted.
That wasn't me.
All right, so you strike the basically what ends up happening is you end up striking this force, and the electricity from your attack like starts arcing over whatever energy this seems to be. Angler, as you are tunneling, you manage to break through one of the floors as you know, just as this is happening. You don't see them per se, but you've broken into like the substrata of the building somewhere, and then there's this loud, deafening explosion. Just, and there's a lot of whiteness. And you all of you, well, those three that were still remaining, there was a lot of a white, like a kind of a whiteness, and now it's all of you are experiencing basically what Hyperion experienced. That loud white noise with a shrill in the background that's deafening and immediately giving you. You're going to need like 20 ibuprofens to cure this. Like it's bad. So Lightbringer, when you finally come to, you're I should say you're standing. You're kneeling in the middle of in the middle of an intersection, a four-way intersection downtown. It's daylight at this point, and obviously there are some cars that are stopped. They haven't gone forward. There's some people honking, because you're in the way. You can see on the ground there's a little bit of an imprint where you came in, so you probably hit hard, although you don't feel it. Ground is asphalt. People, and it looks like you're probably somewhere United States. There are some people around off to the side that are scratching their heads like, what the...
Does it look like Strongford?
It doesn't look like where you're at.
I'm going to get on the comms and say, Lightbringer to Legacy, what is your position?
All you hear is haze. Nothing. And then a few moments later, you hear a... as your brother... like appears next to you, hitting the ground, of course.
High velocity.
Yes. There was like a bit of a flash, and then he impacted with the ground.
What can I interpret from the flash and the method of delivery?
Similar to a camera flash. So slightly blinding for a moment, and then something's here.
And we're in the middle of the road.
Yeah, you're in the middle of a four-way.
There are cars honking.
In downtown somewhere. There's big kind of buildings around you. There's people who have been walking. There's some people in the crosswalk who don't really seem to care, but or I should say on the sides of the sidewalk that don't really seem to care. So they're still going about their business. But for the most part, you're starting to get the attention of folks. Cars either trying to drive by and they're honking because you're in the way, or people just looking around like, who the heck are these people? And what are they doing?
I would like to grab my brother and weave an illusion that makes it look like we're just regular people crossing the street, and
Okay.
at least get out of the street and
After they've already seen you?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing to see here. Please disperse. I got it. Yeah. Go ahead and roll.
How strong are you?
EX 20. How heavy
So
are you?
That's actually max human potential. So you can basically bench 800 pounds at that point, Brittany.
Booyah.
I'd be awkward, especially in the state that I'm in, because I'm 350 pounds. It would be awkward anyway.
I mean,
You
he's
might be able
still
to
he's
bench-
still in his humanoid form. It's just a little misshapen.
We'll work it out. Okay, exclamation roll. 88. That's a yellow.
Okay. So you go from looking like two superheroes standing in the street to two plain Jane standing in the street and then quickly walking off to the side.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and get him to like an alleyway or something where we can
Okay.
talk privately.
And as you guys are making your way to an alley, there's another flash again. This one's a lot more loud. As trash and debris starts raining down in the middle of the intersection, and of course the vehicles come to a stop again. People are watching you like walk away, just like this isn't a big deal. Like they just turned into like regular folks, and other people are just like, yeah, I'm late for work, and they just like they keep walking on. So it's like a 50-50 split. And you
like in
see,
New York.
you end up seeing Hyperion shown and the Angler in this intersection as well, along with like various bits of debris, like parts of plaster, some cement, steel girder beams. It's pretty substantive. Like they came. It's almost like somebody dumped them out with a dump, from cleanup in the city.
Makes me think of
Although not trash, it's like building
the
refuse.
Avengers on that one planet.
I will get to the comms and say, are you all right? Is everyone okay?
Can we even hear anything at this point?
There you can hear the faint echo of something in your earpiece. Yeah.
We're at an intersection. We need to get out of the street. As Hyperion then kind of gets the three of us to
All
a
right.
corner.
As you are picking yourself up, like some guy in, just a wife beater shirt with shorts, chomping on a cigar and a cabbie hat comes walking up and starts jabbing his finger in your chest. And he's like, "Hey, what do you think you're doing, bub? You're blocking up traffic. I got a fare in the back there and I got to get them to the airport in like 10 minutes. Who do you think you guys are?"
Can you tell me where this is?
And so he's like looking around. At this point, the other people around, it's starting to get, people are starting to pay, much more closer, or I should say much more, far closer attention at this point. And he's like, "Oh yeah, well, those girders must have like clocked you upside the brain. You're in New York, see?
New York.
New York. What? Does she not speak English?"
She does. Thank you, sir. I apologize. Let's get out of the man's way.
And so he's like looking around. He's like, "Hey, is somebody gonna clean? You're gonna just leave your mess here? We got dumpsters for that, And at this
Sorry,
point,
sir. We
other
have
people
more
are
things to
hanging
do.
out from cars and like
How-
they're honking and just like, "Hey, we're trying to go here."
How do we end up in New York?
Just out of curiosity, can he actually move the girder out of the way?
Yeah, with your
He
strength,
will
absolutely.
he will lift up the girder and carry it over to the sidewalk.
to some random part of the sidewalk just to get it out of the street.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. All right.
You
So at
have
this
me
point,
now?
some people are like, clapping ironically, sort of things like, okay, yeah, we got somebody civic minded here. Look at this, finally clearing it up. Like the guy, the thing's like, what about the rest? Do I need to go get you a dustpan or something? Hey, come on. And then there's a loud thunderclap at this point in the emanating from the skies, and you can see two shapes coming down towards the street level.
The black shapes?
No.
Orbs.
No, not. I said shapes. I didn't say orbs. I would be specific. Give me a second to finish.
I already know.
Shapes.
Oh,
Like
do
flying
you already
trapezoid.
know? Okay.
He has a good idea when he sees two people descending together.
So, the first one descending, he's swinging. He's actually swinging what appears to be a large warhammer. He's in a mostly black outfit with short red hair. He's got kind of like I don't want to say pauldrons, but in essence like a red cape that has two gold pieces connecting it, kind of keeping it in place, and he's got short black gloves on as well. The other figure is a woman, mostly black costume that seems to kind of fade into a white. She has some interesting kind of hair piece that kind of comes up on either side. I don't want to say like Princess Leia because it's not her hair, but it's like an actual kind of like wire kind of coming up. She has jet white hair. She seems to be wielding some sort of like long sword, but it seems to be almost like an energy type of sword, not like a lightsaber because it doesn't have an actual hilt, but maybe like she's forming the energy and holding it.
More so like Thor and Storm.
No. Not like that. Thor perhaps, but not anywhere close to Storm. Okay. And the individual, the guy swinging the mallet,
Psylocke,
comes down, and he says, "Ho, adventurers! Kneel before the god of thunder in supplication." And like is pointing his hammer, and the other guys are like, "Hey, well, I'm just wanting to get the trash out of the way. What are you two doing here?"
Who are you?
And the other woman, shoots him a look at this point as he's taking, I don't want to say an offensive posture, but he's expecting a fight sort of thing and almost wanting it. And she like puts her hand up and motions back, and she says, "Knock it off, Thor. Not everything has to be a fight." And he says. And he's like gritting his teeth at this point, and he's got his hammer, ready. And she said, and she turns to the rest of you and she says, "My name is Miss Mystic. I apologize. My bombastic friend here is Thor. We need to get you out of here pronto." Lightbringer, why don't you go ahead and give me a psyche check? Go ahead while she rolls.
Oh.
And for those of you watching, some of the pictures that are now currently rotating, I've already described some of those characters. You'll have a visual reference if you need it. You said yellow?
Yep.
Okay. You can't register from where, but remember you have empathy, right?
Yeah.
You can feel hostility growing around you.
I can't tell if it's from the.
No, yeah, you can't tell where. It's just it's almost like if it was standing on top of you. That's how close it is.
It's New York.
I'm gonna say I can cloak us while we get somewhere private.
Let's just get off the street and let traffic move first.
I agree.
He moves off to where Carmen and Ixiana is.
Okay, so you guys are walking off. Ms. Mystic at this point says, "We don't have time for you to try to figure out or calibrate at this point. If we don't get you out of here now, there's going to be all kinds of problems."
I'm going to go ahead and just cloak us right now. Should I roll it?
Go ahead.
Green.
Okay. So you vanish, and she's like, oh, and Thor's like, see, they were not just. We should have just attacked at moment's notice. They would not hide if they did not have anything to hide from. And so he's like, starts swinging his hammer, and
He's gonna get yelled at. He steps out of the bubble.
I was gonna try and cloak them as well, like with us.
oh, that was not clear to me because it sounded like you were just cloaking your people.
No, I wasn't gonna run away.
Okay. Then I'll go odd or even at this point. What are you calling?
Odd.
Odd. Okay. Odd because you're an odd person. All right. So you're lucky enough. So we'll retcon that a little bit, and you end up dropping an illusion over, I guess, everybody at this point. You can still feel the hostility. It's not like lessening at this point.
Yeah,
And so now she's like looking around for a moment and getting really defensive, and she's like, "What did you just do?"
I cast an illusion so that they can't see us.
That isn't going to help.
Hyperion?
What is
Why are we here, and why are you trying to get us out of here?
And so at this point, Thor scoffs and he's just like, "Oh, let them ask their questions. I wish to revel in combat." And she says, "No, we can't do that." And at that point, you end up seeing her make some gestures with her hands. And a couple of words later, there's a bit of a crack sound, and you guys are what appears to be a little ways away, some sort of teleportation, but small scale, not like massive to what Shone could probably do. You're at this point, you're in a park.
So Sean knows exactly what happened.
He will look at Miss Mystic. Can you give us the cliff notes?
She says, "Cliff notes. It's not safe. The people that you see around you are not really people.
They are.
What are they?
What are they?
We don't know. And that's why we needed to get you out of here before something or someone spots you. Your entrance here was bombastic enough.
How did you get here then?
All the more reason why we need to get out of here so we can answer your questions someplace safe."
Are you people?
And Thor's just like, "Oh, we had to get the stupid ones." And she's just like, "For the love of God."
She's going to look at Hyperion and say, I really want to give him a perm.
If they're here to help, we can accept their help. We are strangers in this location. If you can help us, please do so. We'll do what we can.
She taps on her ear for a second. She says, "We need a diamond, Grace." And then you guys end up seeing like this black, with like kind of a white, I don't want to say center, but almost like something fades if like light or whatnot was fading into this black diamond, and the diamond itself is about human size. It almost looks like it's white. It just turns to white and kind of drains into the blackness. And at this point, she and Thor are stepping through.
Follow
I've
me.
done stupider things. He walks in.
Yeah, Sean follows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Head inside.
Okay. What
I
happened?
go wherever Carmen carries me.
Okay.
Are you still incapacitated?
He's not
The
GM
GM has told
he's
me.
not. No, I did not say that. You're not completely
No, you
incapacitated.
hadn't said that I was.
You're part.
conscious.
It's no. You're conscious now at this point, but it was more like silly putty being thrown to the ground. So you can walk. It's just
Oh.
really awkward.
Oh, okay.
Wait, so he's not humanoid right now?
Yeah, no. Well, you have your illusion on him, so he can still look humanoid, just walking with a gimp.
Weird.
He's gonna have to focus to kind of retake that shape. He looks like if somebody made a silly putty man and then threw it against the ground. That's kind of what he looks like.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep.
And probably the only reason why I'm still humanoid is because I'm wearing my uniform.
Probably.
Say as we're following them, I'm going to ask him. Did you regain your liquid state?
No, my body can be forcibly manipulated, and it takes me a significantly longer time to re-manipulate my form, but it is possible. Similarly to when I was shot not too long ago, I would take damage as normal, but I was able to close the hole reasonably, but just not as quick as I should be.
Are you injured?
While you guys are having this conversation, you've stepped through the diamond.
Yeah.
And you're on the other side, you can obviously have this conversation. You guys are out in what appears to be like a desert landscape. It's rocky. It's very vacant. It's only got some plant life. And the ridges look similar to... There's a big difference between desert landscape of like Southern California and Arizona and New Mexico than there is Utah. And it looks more like the Utah kind of terrain.
We
Red
really need to get back
Yeah.
home and stop those attacks.
What happened to the black bodies? Did you solve
Yeah.
them?
That's a good question. What did happen?
So
We managed to get to the bottom of the Shadestone building. The device that was creating those portals was surrounded itself by one of those energy portals and couldn't be reached physically. We tried to overload it, see what would occur with Shone blasting it with electricity. That caused an overload, which apparently sent us here.
Oh, and not to interrupt, Lightbringer, you no longer feel that growing hostility. And so Thor, of course, is here, as well as Ms. Mystic. And there's also a woman there who's in kind of a... she's in a red outfit with gold gloves and black pants with brown boots. She has lightning bolts for earrings. She has kind of a nice hair teased up a little bit, comes back to a ponytail at this point. And she looks to, she looks to Ms. Mystic, just kind of dismissing Thor at this point. And she says, like, are these the new quote unquote guests? And she says, that's them, 5 of them this time.
This time?
Wait.
What was the name?
Where
of
exactly are we?
Hold on. What was the name of my doppelganger that popped up a couple months ago? A month or two
Citizen
ago?
Soldier.
Are you familiar with the hero named Citizen Soldier?
So all of them kind of look around, and Thor is like, is he someone I may fight?
I'm gonna take that as a
and,
no.
And so the other two, the other two are like, you're kind of shaking their heads, and they look to Thor, and it's like, man, he's hostile today.
What about a man named Electrum?
And everybody kind of shrugs, and Thor's like, that sounds like a medal that I might trade for more alcohol.
I need to teleport us home.
I don't know if you will be able to. It sounds almost like we are in a different
reality.
reality or universe
And
or
at
dimension.
that point, the new lady with the earrings that I mentioned was there. She says, right on the first account.
I'm gonna try and reach mainframe.
A
Yeah,
different
nothing.
reality?
That is correct. If
How do
all
we
of you
get home?
if all of you will follow us, we will try to explain to the best of our knowledge what has happened.
Yes,
Can I
And
we
ask
appreciate
something
it.
else? Can I ask a question? Have there been other like normies appearing?
and she says, I'm not the person to ask about that, but I'm pretty sure there have been.
Because I'm wondering
You're
if
gonna want to
some of our
talk to Black Mass when we get inside.
okay,
Understood.
yeah, because I'm kind of wondering if some of our citizens are stuck here.
So as you guys go entering, it's basically just it looked like a rock, and it kind of shifts inward, and then it opens up to a door. They take you down onto the inside and down into what appears to be an underground installation. Now, the markings on the side make it look like it probably was a U.S. military installation at one point in time. Clearly, it's not anymore because you don't see any sort of military personnel walking around. It's actually pretty devoid of life, with the exception of the people I'm about to describe. But they eventually bring you into this large meeting room where there are several individuals there. There's a woman who's in a who has kind of a white and dark blue top, and her body is all is completely green. She looks human, but she just with green skin, and kind of dark, really dark green hair, but longer and shaggier on the top and shorter underneath, sort of thing. She's just kind of sitting there and watching, keeping to herself. There's another well dressed man comes walking in. He's actually really well built and big, and he's wearing kind of a nice outfit. He's got a suit coat with a vest and a white shirt underneath, which there's not much of the white shirt showing, but against his almost albino like skin, like actual white, although he doesn't have the eyes for it, and he's bald.
Like Kingpin.
Yeah. There you go, built like Kingpin, but obviously not wearing white suits. Thor doesn't follow in. He goes off grousing about trying to find a drink of some kind. And Miss Mystic and Grace end up following you in. He looks around and he says, looks to Miss Mystic and he says 5, and she's like, she nods. Yeah, 5 came through.
But there's only 4 of us. So where's the 5th?
There's
Oh,
5.
Sagan.
You forgot
No,
to
there's 5 of us.
Who am I forgetting to count?
Hyperion, Shown.
Oh,
Xenophreeze,
that's me. Okay,
Anger,
yeah.
and
Never
Lightbringer.
mind. Because I'm seeing this on my side. I'm seeing the squares. Never mind. I had a blonde moment.
Because I'm a blonde, BLOND. Because I'm a blonde, don't you wish you were me? I want to be a I want to be a, what was it? A veterinarian.
I don't eat meat because I'm a veterinarian.
Yep. I'll be a veterinarian because I like to work with kids. Because I'm a blonde. Yeah. So, sorry about that derailing. So at this point, the large man motions to all of you and he says, please have a seat. We'll attempt to answer whatever questions that you might have that we can answer.
Are any of you from here?
And so he kind of looks around and he says, so with the direct questions in, everyone you see here, no, is not from here, as you would put it.
So how did we all get here?
Apologies. My name is Black Mass.
Oh, sorry. Shown.
Then Where is here?
That we don't specifically know.
Has anyone successfully returned?
No.
How long have all of you been here, wherever this is?
He says that's a great question again. He looks around as if he's kind of like doing the mental math, and he says, I believe, and we could introduce you to some of the others. Some of us, I believe, have been here maybe a couple months longer than the other, but I think the earliest anyone was here of our assembled group, I think we've been here maybe 3 years now.
Okay, so how did you get here?
He says, well, the collapse of my world.
Is there a Dr. October here?
I'm sorry, who?
Dr. October?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
It's likely nobody that we know from our world is going to be here.
Well, I didn't know that maybe that's where he vanished to when
And he says
he
that
vanished.
that is a safe bet. Every one of us who have come here have only seen brief analogs to what we would identify from our world.
So is it only people with power that are arriving, or is there normies that are arriving as well?
At this point, Ms. Mystic speaks up and she says, we think there are those without powers that may show up as well, but we're uncertain how the equation works. And Black Mass speaks up again and he says, we seem to think it has something to do with either a mental or physical endurance to cross over into where we are at.
You had said when we were in the city that the others that we were, the public, they were not people.
Okay, that is correct.
What are they?
The nearest analogy I can draw from is that we are in a body, and those things that you see as people will act as like white blood cells.
Oh,
So we have sentient antibodies.
Have
We
you
are-
actually seen what they do to someone if they get a hold of an individual?
And Miss Mystic at this point speaks up and she says, I apologize for my rudeness before and stressing the point and getting you to try and follow when clearly you didn't want to. But yes, we have, and that's why we tried to do so. From all that we can tell, there seems to be some sort of, and she's explaining this, there seems to be some sort of symbiotic relation, or lack thereof, with those who show up here and that which you see around you. As we said, the people aren't, they're not people, and they will, they seem to react to hostility and negative emotions, and they will begin to malform and attack those who are around them.
See.
Which is why we tried to get you out of harm's way as quickly as we could. But otherwise, they seem to interact with the world around them, much like, and she kind of looks around, from all the worlds we've come from.
The way that the rest of you came here, you said that it was due to your world collapsing. I wonder if this is the same phenomenon in different places or different phenomenons that lead to the same place.
She says, well, I'm not sure. She says, but the one commonality that everyone of our assembled team has is their worlds also collapsed.
Did you have a company called Shadestone in your world?
And they're like, no, I don't understand the relevance.
So wait, you're saying that Earth collapsed on itself?
We're saying to some degree from where all of us came, our Earths are gone.
Because we were fighting these black creatures and orbs, and I struck a big orb with my
Black
electricity,
body radiation.
and
Yes.
we
Wait,
ended
what
up
did
here.
you say about the radiation?
Black body radiation is what it's called.
Okay, well, the black body radiation.
Oh, by the way, everybody here, with the exception of Hyperion, feels uncomfortable with the green woman, just kind of instinctively. Not, not like it's hostile, just that you're like, ugh. There's just something like an odd vibe coming off of her, even though she's not really doing anything.
What manner were your worlds collapsed or attacked?
Miss Mystic says, I can go first on that one. Ours was a worldwide catastrophe involving demons.
Ouch.
Which
Were they black?
they were a number of different colors. There wasn't anything specific to their hue or shade.
Wait, so if you have no world to return to, how do you know if you would unsuccessfully return? I mean, you wouldn't want to try and return to a world that is there no longer.
And Black Mass is like another great point. We just know everyone here has come from a world that's died or perished in some sort of cataclysmic event.
So you're saying I blew up Earth?
And so he's like, he kind of looks around. He says, I'm sorry. I don't know the reference. I don't know what it was that you were doing. I just know that you were here now in a similar manner that the rest of us were.
A company in our world before we appeared here was kind of a shady company. That's the reason I asked if you had a Shadestone business in your world. And out of their building sprung these, she called them black body radiations. And that's when they were teleported away shortly after we were teleported here. So I was just seeing if there's a connection between maybe something that you had in your world that was similar and something that we had in ours that was similar.
No. All of that, unfortunately, that's the fact that our worlds have all perished or collapsed is really the only commonality. And he says, in my particular case, it was a catastrophic event of global proportions. Had to do with the exchange of nuclear arms.
Okay.
How was it that you then were forced out of your reality and into this pseudo reality?
None of us are certain. We just know that there were others, friends, family, allies, that may have been near us and they did not make it. So we don't know if this is a matter of being chosen, since we know that there seems to be some sort of sentience to the realm that we live in now. Or perhaps we were plucked from that particular point in time prior to our world's destruction.
So has anyone attempted to communicate with the sentience that is this place?
That is another great question, one of which we have been completely unsuccessful in doing.
Is there a maximum height that we've been able to travel through the sky?
Oh, from my understanding, the physics of this world operates in much the same that I'm certain it works in yours as well. There is a space agency around the world, in various countries, and they do send up ships and whatnot. So to the best of my knowledge, I believe you can leave the planet. I don't know how advisable it would be, because from what we can tell, It's the dimensional energies, not the world itself, that seems to have that sentience. So you are, in essence, trading one environment for another.
Are any of you otherworldly traveled?
He says some of us are, yes. But I am aware of other worlds, being one of the premier mystics on my, well, from my world that I came from. But be that as it may, I do believe that Thor, and he looks over and he says, Fathom here have also been to other dimensions, but neither seem to be familiar with this one.
Have you heard of the Salanth before?
No, I'm afraid I do not.
We're all from different realities, from the same Earth. The quantum energies would dictate that each reality is different, but strange that there was a combination. We've all been brought here, and all of the individuals there are not human. They're a different entity. Do they all seem to work in harmony then?
I'm sorry, out of character. What were you asking?
Do all of the entities that seem like people here, do they seem to work in harmony, or do they
Like-
seem to be
Oh,
individual?
gotcha.
Are they like a hive mind?
They
Yeah.
seem to
Like the board?
they seem to operate exactly as you would expect individuals to operate, until something happens near them.
So it's this entity is aware of our environment that we came from to recreate this for us.
We don't know. We honestly don't know. That would be a good theory, but it begs the question why.
Well, yeah. I mean, why are they not other aliens instead of New Yorkers? And why
We
would
did
he?
it.
Why
Well,
would he
you
pick
can
me?
go anywhere on this planet. You're going to run into similar circumstances. I believe Los Angeles is analogous on probably your world as it is mine. If you were to go there, you would run into the same thing. It would look likely very similar to what you're used to, but the people and creatures therein, they would not. It's as if the environment itself, when something acts, it reacts, but it's always in a passive manner. So it's possible for us to travel to and fro, but it's obviously difficult to keep it from being anger, for lack of a better term.
So how are you hiding in here? Why can they not get to you in here?
There are none of the people of this world. Let's call them what they are to make it probably easier to translate. But we don't employ any of those people. The only individuals that are here are from other worlds.
Do you know if any of the buildings are real, or are they a part of this overall sentience?
They're not, at least as far as we can tell, hence our current command center. So it would seem the life forms or life force of this place we find ourselves in is what reacts negatively.
Has anyone been able to determine why it reacts negatively? It's just the presence of us near them, or something else?
They are antibodies, is what it seems like.
In a manner of speaking, if we're keeping it purely clinical, we have noticed that there are villains from our respective universes that have crossed over, who don't seem to make any qualms about angering, kicking the hornet's nest, and seeing what comes out, which is one of the reasons why we rushed so quickly to find you when you came through.
Has anyone ever survived an encounter with these antibodies?
Our unique abilities do allow us to fight them off. They are not indestructible, but they are limitless. hence the problem.
I see.
So if we're going to be here for a while, what does life look like here?
He says, well, perhaps we should do an introduction first, and I can then introduce you to the rest of the members here. Maybe you can ask them their individual stories and their experiences. I'm certain they differ from mine. As I said, my name is Black Mass. I'm
How
sorry,
many
what did you say?
people are there?
Huh?
How many people are there?
In the room right now, you've got 4 people with you.
Okay.
He says, my name is Black Mass. I am the 7th son of a 7th son, and as I alluded to before, a master magician, among other things. He says, also with me is Grace, and she waves. She's the one that had the red and brown and black outfit that I described when you guys touched down. He says, her abilities are similar to enhanced strength and endurance and durability, as well as she's a very competent leader from where she is from, and has the ability to create teleportation diamonds. He says, this is Ms. Mystic. She was the most competent sorcerer from what I understand from her world. And then next to me here is Fathom. She is and he says, you're basically a water elemental, correct? And she says something of the sort.
That's the green woman.
Yes.
I'll kick it off from our side. I'm Angler. I'm not a mystic. I'm a genetically spliced human with plasma powers. And he'll do the shirt thing where he shows off his gills.
Okay.
Well, his uniform, because it's not a one piece.
Right.
I am Hyperion. I'm the leader of this team, the Legacy, from our world. I am technological, to say the least. Strong, capable of enduring, intelligent. We also have Lightbringer, Shone, and Xenofreeze, as he points to each one. I'll let them describe themselves how they see fit.
I'm Lightbringer. My abilities mostly center around light manipulation and energy, specifically ultraviolet energy manipulation.
I'm Shone. I'm not technically really from Earth. I'm from a different plane of existence, actually. But I control electricity and I can teleport.
And I am otherwise known as Xenofreeze. I am also from another world. I am from the planet Zenri. I am known as a Salanth. And I have the abilities to, and I just kind of take my hand and I holding a ice cube.
Okay.
Manipulate and generate cold.
On behalf of the rest of the survivors, I welcome you, Legacy, to our safe haven. So long as you respect our property and where we're at and do nothing to threaten the lives of those here, you're welcome to stay. There's plenty of room here.
Have you ever heard of, and I don't know if this is related, but it recently came up. Have you ever heard of a, hold on, I want to make sure I get the name right. Haha. Dreamscape Pearl. Or anything similar.
I do not, as of this point in time, but I would be happy to look over my library.
He'll just flip his bracer around so they can see it.
Okay.
I found this on my world at some point, and I've been trying to attune to it. And he'll show up, he'll lift up his sleeve so he can see the failures of who he is, and pull it back down. Maybe something like this has something to do with it. Since you guys are mystical in nature, I am not. Would you want to take a look into the pearl?
I would be happy to. Not all of us here are mystical, obviously, but perhaps perhaps after we've gotten you acclimated and found you rooms, we can Miss Mystic and I could take a look at your pearl and maybe ascertain to see if it has any dimensional properties tied to here.
I don't know if it would. The catch is what you're describing is interesting. All of our worlds seem to have some type of event that's catastrophic. We don't know if the event that we experienced was catastrophic for our world or just the city that we were in. So it is very well possible that we triggered something and now we're in a different place of existence. The name dreams, a dream could act like a human body and try to kick things out if you've been sleeping for too long. Now, I might just be going off on a weird tangent here. So these are all thoughts that have just been spilling out of my head.
We're happy to entertain them all if it gives us some sort of resolution. But in the meantime, let us find you some rooms. And he looks and says, "Do we have any spare clothing we can give to them?" And your Fathom just kind of shrugs. She says, "I could probably find some old uniforms that they can modify if they want."
Sean's just going to deactivate her uniform and go back into her regular street clothes.
Okay.
The same.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do the same thing.
I would prefer to room with Lightbringer, please.
Of course. As I said, there are plenty of room. This used to hold, from what I can tell, a fairly sizable military.
When in Rome, I get rid of the uniform and.
Do you go splat?
No, he doesn't go splat. He's just a mushed-looking humanoid silver thing.
I'm naked.
Do you have your medical scanner on you, Lightbringer?
You're muted.
Muted.
You need a
Yes.
soundbite.
I'll hand it over.
Scan Xenofreeze real quick.
Oh, I guess I can do it.
See if the deviant gene is still pulsing like it was on our world.
Medical scanner. That's a reason plus a column shift.
Yes.
Okay.
You have all the column shifts for this.
Yeah.
Well, it's not emergency medicine, so I can't column shift for that. Okay. R. I can't remember what I typed. Oh, nope. It's exclamation. Roll. AM.
Excuse me.
Wait, feet.
12. Should I use my reroll? Now that it doesn't matter. No, yes, no.
Xenofreeze, you're dying.
Okay, so if you don't use your reroll, then that's fine. You're not getting any sort of reading at this point. Like nothing, like just nothing is coming up at this point. Maybe there's some sort of interference from when you crossed over or something.
That's weird. When it does that, I'm gonna try and like troubleshoot it.
Okay.
Well, we can work on this while we're finding our accommodations.
Exactly.
It was just a thought, since we are in a different maybe plane of existence or dimension. The Argentinian trip might have reversed itself. But before we get to that point, I'd rather take a technological. That way we don't accidentally freeze up an entire building.
Fair point.
I look to the green woman. You are a water elemental of sorts?
She says, it's easier to explain it that way. I died due to a drowning, and some sort of elemental spirit decided to resurrect me as this.
My home world is I am water based. And that is my natural environment. I this is merely an adaptation to accommodate more of a landmass planet. I would be intrigued to possibly interact with you to possibly see if any of your abilities may be able to help me manipulate myself back to my normal state. I was affected by an unknown energy source to where I cannot manipulate my body as I once was able to.
She says, I'm not very scientific, but I mean, I'll be happy to see if I can splash you with some water or something, see if that helps.
It would be interesting. Do you have what I would only be able to? Do you have water freedom to where you can breathe underwater, so
Oh
to
yeah.
speak?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I would love to see some of this. I am a biologist and I have a I'm inclined for alien studies, and though you may not be alien, you are alien to me, and I would highly like to understand or try to,
She says,
if you wouldn't mind.
okay, I don't exactly have the cliff notes. Um, she says, I just happened to die, and I was unfortunate enough to get resurrected by some sort of elemental spirit that thought I should be water. So here I am.
This is interesting. It's quite fascinating too.
So at that point, Black Mass takes you, into the complex. It doesn't obviously take you anyplace vital, but is walking you to where you guys can kind of hole up for barracks. And a rather large man, almost 7 foot, if not, brown hair, like perfect. He's got the face that he's got a chiseled face and body, like he, looks, it basically looks like Colin on crack. I'll put it that way. He's got all the abs. He's very well built. His hair is short, it's short and kept, but he has the look like, even if you dunked him in water, he would do like one of these numbers, and it would come out perfect. Like he's just got like all those right comic book features. He's got a kind of a white top with a blue and red M on his chest. with pants and boots and whatnot. And he comes walking up to Black Mass,
Boots and pants.
and he says, "Oh, what did we end up getting? Some new people?" And he says, "Megalith. This is
And Shone is going to say, "Hi, I'm Shone."
okay." So he says Megalith. This is the legacy. He says, and he's recalling from memory. He says this is Hyperion, Lightbringer, Shone, or I should say it's a blue shirt with black and red M. And he says this is the Angler and Xenofreeze. He says obviously Megalith has also crossed over in a similar fashion, and he looks to everyone here, and he's just like when Sean introduces him like it, he's like, hey,
Hey.
and he says Megalith has come from the same world that Ms. Mystic came from. So there is some familiarity with some of the heroes that you find here, but obviously not all.
At different times, or
And he says, "Oh no, what we knew each other in the current time, when everything went to literal hell in a handbasket."
Oh, so
But
you're
did
from
you-
the same reality?
Did you come over at the same time as her?
I believe so. We didn't. You have to understand. We and this is Megalith talking. He says, "When we crossed over, there wasn't any us," and he's like motioning around. So none of us showed up in the same place.
How long have y'all been here? Relatively speaking.
He says, "Ms. Mystic, Armor, Silver Streak, and I have all been here 3 years."
Wow. That's kind of a long time.
And then new people have fed in over time.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah,
you
and
guys
Black
ever tried
Mass-
to escape?
Black Mass is like, I've been here, almost 3 years, a little over 2.5.
And are you the first ones that you know of to arrive here?
Oh, are you asking Megalith that?
Yes.
Yeah, he's like, as far as I know, yeah. And he just says, "Well, you'll have to excuse us. I'm showing them to where they can, stow their gear and rest their heads while we figure out what more we can do." And he's like, "Okay, all right." And he
I'll
says,
see you later.
"Yeah." And he says, mess hall's like 2 floors down. He says they serve a mean meatloaf here.
And he'll look over at Black Mass is the one guiding us, right?
Yeah.
Y'all wouldn't happen to have 3x5 cards, would you, in a pin or two?
I'm sure we can find some.
I have an idea because there has to be a common link between all of our worlds. There must be 1 or 2 of them.
Perhaps let's get you settled in first, and then we'll find you supplies as you need it.
Well, at least I don't have to worry about the other 2 parts of my triplets for now.
Yeah, if I didn't blow them up.
And then he shows you to your accommodations. Basically, it's a barracks area. The setup to it is very similar to a Navy style. So it's like there's a cabin, and you've got 2 bunks in each, so you can divvy it up however you want.
Hyperion says, "I won't need a bunk, so if that allows the rest of you to have more accommodations, so be it. I also don't need to sleep."
How many bunks were there? 2?
2 per room.
2 per room. There's a total of 6 rooms.
I'll look at my sister and be like, "You sure you don't want your own?"
Yes, I'm sure. Why? Do you need to be alone?
No.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't need to be alone.
He
For
says,
space purposes, we should
No.
probably team.
Making friends.
Like, did you see him? He was hot.
Too big for me.
"Oh, that's what she said."
Literally.
Sorry.
You know, I just
I'm
feel
trying to
like
be a good boy.
once they get to certain physique, it's just not worth. I like smart boys.
You wouldn't happen to have a pool around here, would you?
He
I
says,
know it's a tall ask, but
he says no. Actually, the facility does have one.
Chlorinated water, or is it like spring water?
He says no. It's actually spring water. It was military regulation, from what I understand, but we've made some modifications. He
I might
says
sleep
here,
underwater a couple nights. This
and hey Joe, what's going on, man? And he says, so here's your place. Feel free to make it however you would like for however long you're here. We're going to ask that you stay off of most of the secured floors until obviously we get better acclimated with one another. Feel free to use the training facilities that are here as well as the aforementioned pool. He says there's obviously access to the mess hall, and there's the rec room where you can tune into what passes for television here. And they have some old movies, maybe some of them are familiar, some of them are not. I didn't recognize all of them. But you're welcome to give it a shot.
I'm kind of curious. Have you guys made any attempts to leave? I mean, like to leave the way you came in?
No, we have not.
By blowing up the planet?
No, we hit up. We were portaled. So I was kind of hoping that maybe we could find the portal on this world and try to go back through it. It's kind of like how I got to your world.
Not all gateways may act the same. That may have been unidirectional rather than bidirectional, like the bridge that exists between your plane and our Earth. We might need to find an entirely different way.
first,
said-
let's get.
He says, hold that thought then. When you're finished acclimated, I have some questions that I want to ask you, and I think at least one of our other members will be keenly interested in your arrival. But in the meantime, as I said, make yourself at home.
Thank you.
And with that,
Thank you very
he walks
much.
off.
Let's first find out. Let's rest a couple of days because we're probably going to need that. We have no idea what type of drain this teleportation has happened on us. And before we start running around trying to blow people up again, let's see if our powers have remained the same as they were before. That being said, let's find out if there's a Strongford here. Maybe none of these people have heard of Shadestone because in this world, it is a smaller company. It might only be in Colorado.
We'll need to make sure of our traveling accommodations. If simply being amongst the antibody populace angers them, we need to actually plan every single trip outside of this facility.
And I don't know if I want to try to teleport.
This world is not identical to our previous ones. The landmarks may be different from what you're used to.
I don't know how this environment would react to me teleporting.
Try to teleport across the room first, and then you can make an assessment from there if that's the way we want to begin this. Remember how I left out those guides for everybody when I went searching for the other pieces of the pearl? Same basic principles. We start small, we work our way up to see if our powers have remained the same.
Sean's actually going to try to generate sparks off of her fingertips.
Sure.
Do I need to roll?
Nope.
Okay, does she have them?
Yeah.
Do they look normal?
Yeah, you look like thunder from, or you look like, I should say, lightning from Hong Kong, or Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, I don't feel any different.
So, still, let us rest up first. Obviously, Carmen's powers have remained the same. We haven't seen any adjustments in those. She was able to use them fine in the New York equivalent.
You want to know if the gene glow. She says that to Lightbringer.
Okay. The glowing was kind of a side effect before it was like a leakage of my power before I could.
Actually control it.
Right.
We can spend time in the training room they actually have in this facility, but I do agree with Angler that we all should rest, accommodate ourselves with this new situation. Clearly, it's not ideal. None of us could have expected this morning that this is what would happen later in the day. We're capable,
Yeah.
and we're together.
And I had a
We can
date
make
with
it through
Brad.
this.
The only thing we're missing is our bug out bags.
True.
Yeah.
But perhaps they have something similar here, if we even need that. Fortunately, we're not alone. We have other heroes who can help, and we can help them. They've been here for 3 years. I don't count on us being here for nearly that long.
No,
No matter
I'm
how
gonna.
long it is, we can get through this.
Yeah, we're gonna figure a way to get home.
Sagan's gonna be pissed.
Understandable.
That assumes time travels the same way here as it does to our world.
Excellent point. We don't know the true dynamics of what's actually happened to us or where or when we are.
How long did it take between the time that I arrived here and the time that Ixion arrived here?
1 to 2 minutes. Not terribly long.
But what was it like on Earth?
A few seconds in between. You're in combat.
Okay.
So how long was it between when the three of us showed up and their arrival?
A few more minutes.
Yeah.
Or-
Time could still seem relative to its own self. If what we are in is some type of, I don't want to call it a simulation, but some kind of repository for people who can endure, we might be somewhere different than we think we are. The human body is a really good example. If the citizens act as antibodies, we might be in a situation where we are just, how do you put it?
Or viruses?
Expelled?
Bacteria is a better word because bacteria can be beneficial for a host. But it might be more of a situation where someone did pluck us out of our worlds as it was ending, or as a cataclysmic.
Huggy Jesus.
A cataclysmic event was occurring or beginning to occur.
True.
We
There's
do
no
not-
telling what those dimensional bubbles were going to do or how much they would expand.
Exactly. Because they expanded as they picked up you two.
I'm still mad I didn't get a chance to try my theory.
But tomorrow we should do some scans of our bodies, see if they are coming up as our normal selves, and then we can work on maybe taking a day to relax. I have a way, I'm going to propose an idea for maybe figuring out commonalities between our worlds, because there's no way these are happening at random. There is no causality to randomly plucking different people from different dimensions who just so all happen to have superpowers or mystical training. That there's no randomness to that.
Yeah,
They're not talking about everyday citizens.
What are you planning to do with note cards?
We're going to write down things that we think are important. So Shadestone, that was our our event that brought us here. Electrum, our big hero. Whether or not you consider him a villain, we should include Reichshield, or President Ulbrich. Sorry. Let me be kinder in this moment. President Ulbricht.
So you think that we should see if we can't contact these people?
No, we're going to see if they're here.
Yeah.
We're going to see. No, it's not about contacting. Do these people have these similar heroes and villains in their world? These similar companies?
You're just looking for patterns.
A pattern. Any pattern. When you're looking at DNA, you're looking for patterns. And this is what we should do at least as a start. Now, worst comes to worst, we can just, you guys can hold on to me and I can fly us to where Strongford should be. That is well within my capabilities of carrying all of us there.
That's a pretty long flight.
Well, do we know where in America we are right now?
I figured we can find that out later, but the cue cards, the cards is a good way of handing it out to people, saying identify your cataclysmic event, identify your heroes, the villains, major cities that might be different in your world compared to ours. Like New York City might be City of York.
Well, the guy that poked us, he said it was New York.
True.
So they might have New York. But in American history, New York used to be the capital of America until it moved to Washington, D.C.
They also have Los Angeles.
So we know at least some of the world events or some of the world cities have lined up to ours. Does this universe that we are currently existing in exist outside of what we know as the United States, or is it the whole Earth that's been mimicked here? There's a lot of questions we don't have answered, and I'm pretty sure a lot of these people have gone over them time and time again. But by putting out the cue cards, do you have an Ulbricht in your universe? Do you have a Shadestone? Do you have the Justice, the Legion of Justice? What do you have? The Justice, what are they called? Justice Legion?
Justice Legion.
Justice Legion. We can start to identify where the commonality is.
Hey, you can ask if there's if Latvia is here.
You also are very close-minded with the fact that, and I've seen this and noticed this with many humans, you speak as if you are the original and this is the duplicate. What if you are just the opposite and this is the original and the world as we know it is the duplicate or a copy of sorts?
Pragmatism.
There's too many variables to determine whether or not.
It's entirely pragmatism. I think, therefore I am. I dream, I have feelings, I have emotions, I have thoughts about things. Even if I am a duplicate or a copy or a clone or some simulation, as far as I can tell, I am an existing being. I think, therefore I am. This is entirely pragmatic.
Absolutely, and I understand that. I just wish to give you a different view to where we may have a better understanding, not being finite with thinking that we are the original, that there may be other possibilities that way.
I agree.
I think we've jumped dimensions.
Yes, because there are many, and
but that doesn't mean I'm not. But that doesn't mean I'm not the original me. There may be many versions of me throughout a multiverse, but
how do you know that the other guy is not the original and you're the duplicate of him?
If all the universes are running simultaneously, we're born at the same time. Both of us are original. We're not duplicates of each other.
We're all results.
We're similarities, not exact copies.
We are all resulting of what we are now, are a result of what we have experienced in our lifetime.
Citizen Soldier is a great example. We had the same mother and father, the same biological donor, which would be Electrum. But because of the paths we took in our life, he was an only child. I was a part of a triplets. So multiverse theory is something that's been around for a few years, and minor changes can create waves. It's like the whole butterfly effect of time travel. But this is just the beginning. If there's a greater multiverse of just Earths, then we have a huge issue that's about to hit us. Because who is to say or not say that someone is intentionally trying to bring everything onto one world?
Perhaps. But that intention may be different. All of them, apparently, have been forced from their realities and into this one immediately after or during a cataclysmic event they were unable to stop in their respective quantum worlds. Each Earth is Earth, but of a different cosmic waveform. They would all typically superimpose to create a stable multiverse, but something is crossing that threshold and forcing superpowered beings, especially here, for a specific reason. There is a reason, something or some entity is bringing us here. That seems clear, and the question is exactly why. I think it is intelligent to find as many commonalities as possible. That should be one aspect of what we do. We do need to understand more about how this world works and what exactly those antibodies that pose as humans actually are. That might lead us to more information about what this place is, where we've gone, what we can do. But for now, as has been said, we need to rest and acclimate to this situation. I'm going to walk around the area. I don't need extensive rest. If anyone needs me, it seems that our comms can work close by, but keep in mind the range will be limited because we now don't have mainframe to act as our hub. The range is going to be at max approximately 2 miles, unless something else is happening.
Does our sublinks work here?
And Hyperion tries to subvocally communicate. Can everyone hear me on the comms?
Do we hear him, Jerome?
Mhm.
Okay.
That was a subtle nod, my dude.
The devices work, but the range will be significantly decreased because we lack a friend. We can't rely technically on the outside world because none of them are truly human beings and will attack us if they realize what we are, that we're not one of them. Therefore, we have to understand how this group, these survivors here, function in this world, how they obtain food, and so forth, and we need to be a part of this community and help as much as we can. We all have the same goal: survive and escape. We can do it, but it'll take time.
He's gonna go.
He goes ahead and starts walking around the facility.
Okay.
I'm going to head to the spring water place, and I am going to rest in the pool.
I think I'm going to go find the meatloaf and maybe talk to Megalith, see how, place works around here.
He's gonna meditate on the pearl.
Okay.
Carmen is gonna pour her frustration into trying to fix the med scanner.
Okay. Sure thing. And that's where we're going to stop for the night. So I hope you guys had fun. Some interesting comments in the stream chat as we've been playing. But if you haven't gathered, the common theme of this particular, well, actually, most of you probably haven't gathered it. The common theme of this particular story arc are characters that belonged to independent comics that have since closed down.
Interesting. Yep.
So all of these pictures that you see here are the pictures of the actual characters who have come from other particular comic lines, and so the common thread in essence that I put was, all these characters are now in a sort of limbo because they are, their comics aren't being produced anymore. Their rights are up in the air or whatever have you. So. So there's that. So yes, those were all comic book characters that were just introduced. Fathom and Thor came from the Elementals comic. Megalith is actually from the self-titled comic Megalith from Continuity Comics, as well as Armor and Silver Streak. Black Mass is from a comic book called The Coven that was originally produced by Awesome Comics back in the day. And then one of the images you see rotating here, Fatale, came from Broadway comics. So obviously more to delve into in our next game. And Miss Mystic, sorry, also came from Continuity Comics. Where our next game is going to be in 2 weeks. That is going to be June the 24th. Everybody good so far? Sounds like it's good. Or what's that?
Except for
I won't be.
Derek won't be here.
We with any luck, if everything goes the way it's supposed to be going, we should have a new player joining us
Really?
on the 24th. I'm already working with them on getting his character, and again, if it works out, he should be a regular. So
Nice.
It's going to be
Did
interesting.
he state in the chat that he was making a new character?
No, he did not.
Oh, so it wasn't Davy Jones.
No, it wasn't Davy Jones. We should have obviously it's going to be more in the story next game around. We are going to be playing Cyberpunk on the 14th, so please tune into that. It should be fun. With any luck, Street Fighter right now is up in the air for the 15th because one of our players is definitely out. And the other one may be out. We just have to check their schedule. So don't know if we're going to be playing on the 15th.
Sorry. Is the new person Brad?
Brad?
Your friend Brad? Was that his name? The one that...
The guy who joined and
watching
before.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, it's not Brad.
No, I get it.
I was thinking there for a minute. For some reason, I was correlating it to Brittany. I'm like, Brittany knows a Brad? I'm like, did I get introduced to a Brad that I'm unaware of? Like, I don't know why my mind went that way. So
I was thinking, wow, Shelly's really got Brad on the brain.
yeah.
So we have to ask this: Do any of us know this new person that's going to be playing?
Brittany does.
Oh, okay.
It's Batman, isn't it?
Yes, it's Batman.
Yes.
No,
that was my next guess.
He does actually cosplay. Yes, he has some very killer cosplay.
He doesn't play Batman though. But
he doesn't do Batman. No, he does Spider-Punk for superheroes.
Nice.
Okay.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Speaking of, if you haven't seen it, go and see Across the Spider-Verse. That movie is...
I'm absolutely planning to, yeah.
I saw the new Transformers. That was pretty cool, too.
I love Transformers.
Is out already?
Yeah.
New Transformers is out?
Yep.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's
Those
pretty
are
good.
some of my favorites.
And then next Saturday on the 17th, we'll be back in action for Vampire the Masquerade, or I should say Ashland by Night, Blood Ties. So it should be fun. Hope you guys decide to tune in. Davy Jones, as always, it was fun hanging out with you. Thanks for stopping by. And you guys have a nice night. Good night, guys.
Hi, guys.
Good night.
And done.